Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we are resuming work on our snake skin Bowie. Make sure that you watch part 1 where we forged this really cool blade from a bunch of ball bearings and stuff. I'll put that link right here, or is it right here? It's up at the top somewhere. Cars. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Worldview. That's what was behind the original statement. But now when the government gets involved and makes it part of law, well now.
Alright, well at long last we finally have this completely hand sanded down to 1000 grit, and we can now etch this thing. Alright, check that out. So had it in the quench first time here for about 10 minutes I guess, and I pulled it out, sprayed it down with ammonia to neutralize the acid, and we're going to go ahead and clean this up so that we continue. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, that's etching nicely. Those ball bearings are, it already looks like there's some depth to it, relief to it. Oh yeah, check that out. Anyway, clean this up so we get a clean, consistent etch here, and then put it back in. Yeah, I can already start to feel some of the depth there. Very nice. Alright guys, I got this out of the etch for the last time. What, 4 or 5 times, something like that. I did a really deep etch on this, and I'm really digging how it turned out. This is so cool. You can see, so what happened is these ball bearings, that's what's etching primarily. And because the etch is so deep, when you clean it off with the sandpaper, with the high grit sandpaper, it doesn't reach down into the corners of those spots, and so you get this highlighted look that's really cool. I contemplated putting it, doing a coffee etch on it, and I could do that and make it, really darken up those ball bearings. Because they're such wide surfaces, the sandpaper, when you clean up the surface, it gets most of it. But then that happened, so I was like, you know what, I think that looks even cooler. So I think I'm just going to leave it and not try to darken those, not try to darken up the main part of those ball bearings, because I don't know, I really like it. So now that we have that done, we have to start working on a guard. I have a visitor today in the shop. A little sparrow. Alright, it's time to start making the guard for this Bowie knife, and I have a piece of 1 inch by 2.5 inch mild steel, and we're going to forge a guard from this. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off a piece. I'm going to go ahead and mark the center of this just so that once we have it in the forge, I kind of have a real clear idea of where the center is. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and mark the center, and then I'll mark, I think, a 1/2 inch on either side of that, because what I want to do is forge down some quillins or whatever they're called and leave a center raised portion. So that'll give us just a rough understanding of where to do that. So yeah, I'll go 1/2 inch on each side from the center, give myself a center punch mark here and here. Alright, so we have the guard roughed out here, forged out. There's still quite a lot of material to remove from here, but that's a good thing. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with the shape yet, but plenty of material to work with. So the proportions we have here so far I think are pretty good for this size blade. So that's looking good. The next thing I'm going to do is figure out a center line and then kind of make some lay out some marks and stuff so that whatever we do from that point is going to be concentric and even. Okay, so I realize that I can't really mark anything until I have straight, even surfaces to mark from. So I spent some time getting these sides within about 1 or 1/2 thousandths actually, straight and parallel, or at least the same thickness through here. And so this right here is out about 5 or 7 thousandths, but we can deal with that later. So I think it's probably going to be a better idea to go ahead and actually cut out the slot for the tang and actually fit this thing before we do much of anything else, because once we do that, we know exactly where everything else needs to be in relation to where that tang is. So that's what we're going to do next. Get some holes drilled here and start the process. Oh, that's great. It's not centered. What in the world? Alright guys, well, I got a little bit of filing to do on this and before it fits where it needs to be, but I think this is a good start, and I have some time to think about exactly what I want to do with the design on this guard, and it's going to be a lot lighter than it is right now, but I think we've got a good start to it. So I'm going to keep filing away on this, and I'll bring you guys back when we're a little further along. So as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. I hate that when that happens.